Centralise your work, prioritise, then schedule. I remember working with a client who was waking up every night at 3 a.m. and writing down all the things that she had forgotten to do on her to-do list that was sitting beside her bed. After learning to use tasks and calendar as a trusted system, her feedback was that she was not only more productive, but also she was actually not waking up in the middle of the night anxious that she had missed something. The principle here is that any action of any kind is trapped in your calendar or your tasks, or in your workly, and more on this later. So it becomes a trusted system. Now, of course, not everything in your world that you need to action arrives via email. Some actions may arise from just thoughts, ideas. However, one place you should not store your tasks is in your head. All good task management experts recommend getting out of the habit of trying to rely on your memory for tracking to-dos. Some actions arrive via phone calls. Think of your voicemail box as a big pile of paper with buried to-dos in it. It's adding to your sense of your workday being out of control. From now on, whenever you listen to a voicemail, immediately determine the action needed and place it into an Outlook task or on your calendar or in your workly. The same thing goes when you attend meetings. Rather than leaving the meeting actions sitting in one of your many meeting books, centralise the actions and gather them into your world. There may be piles of paper sitting on your desk. One of the common sources of tasks is stacks of paper on your physical desktop, your bookshelf, your cabinet, or in your desk drawer. A primary benefit of implementing an effective system is no longer feeling haunted by piles of paper that you know contain things that you need to work on. Well, the key here is a peace of mind. It's ensuring that all these actions, wherever they arrive from, are entered into your system so that nothing slips through the cracks. Here's how to do this.
Some of the actions that are sitting in your world are sitting in your head. Some are also arriving via phone calls or text messages. Others are coming out of meetings that you might have attended, and they're sitting in your meeting books. There might also just be piles of paper that are sitting around your desk that are hiding both information and actions. So what we want to do is actually quite systematically go through all these buckets of information and actions, so the thoughts, stuff that's sitting in your paper, your phone calls. Think about all those buckets of information and then try to ask yourself, try to get all the actions out. The information needs to be stored somewhere where you can find things quickly, but get the actions out into your system. As you go through the actions, remember that system that we've already talked about. So what's the next logical step? How long is that next logical step going to take? If that next logical step is 15 minutes or longer, then it's worthy of going in the calendar. If it's 5-10 minutes, then put it in tasks. So for example, as I go through my piles of paper on my desk, as I start to organise it, I can see that I've got to call Jane in regards to client ABC. And I would like to do that next Tuesday. Also, I want to call Mary on Thursday about job prospects for new employees. So their employment prospects around their career. So that's a 5-10 minute job, but the things that are sitting in my head that have come through on paper. Also, there's things like I've got to prepare a marketing document, and it's about an hour job that I need to do. So let's put some time bounds around that and make a commitment to do that in our calendar. Prepare a marketing document. So what you can see here is I'm starting to think about all the actions that are sitting on my near horizon that are in those buckets of areas where I catch stuff, phone calls, meetings and so forth, so not email related. And then I'm starting to put it into my system, which is Outlook calendar or tasks. Now note I haven't adopted, or I haven't put on top of this the pressure of prioritization. That's coming through later when we start to talk about the workly, about the quarterly plan, focusing down into the workly. But at the moment, all we're doing is catching all our actions that are sitting on our near horizon. Now you can see I've entered those tasks in right underneath the calendar there. Similarly, they are reflected also, you can see here, they're reflected in my task list, which is in tasks and simple lists. And I can sort that by due date, I can sort that by category. So there's a few places where those tasks are sitting. And then obviously when I mark it off, when I complete it, I can just highlight it and press complete if I so desire.
As you can see, incoming to work will arrive via a number of different channels. These include thoughts, actions sitting in papers, actions on your phone, meetings that you've attended, or emails that you've received. In order to prioritise and then schedule your actions, it's first important to centralise the actions of all the work into one tool. Catching all actions as they arrive should be actually an ongoing practice. However, reviewing everything you've caught along the way happens systematically once a week. This is where weekly planning comes in handy. In this way, we remain responsive to what's on the near horizon before we lock in on our commitments. So in order to catch all these actions on the fly, you're going to need to decide on a collection device. Once a week, we check in on all the actions we've caught on our device and we weigh them up against any other commitments that are in our calendar that are placing demands on our time. Your collection device might be a notepad, an app on your phone, or you could place incoming weekly actions directly into your Workly, which we'll talk about in subsequent videos.